Welcome back and thank you for joining us on the press this morning. We're still reaching you live from the nation's capital in Abuja. Now we've gotten to the part, of course, the interesting part where we get to invite our guest analyst on the program this morning. And with us is Richard Oriri, a journalist and, of course, a media practitioner. Good morning.
It's my pleasure.
How are you? It's safe to say Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. We are seeing for the first time.
You are seeing for the first time, yeah. All right, viewers at home, this is the part where you get to call in on our phone. Of course, our numbers are on the screen for you to call in and make in your contribution. But of course, in 60 seconds, and please remember to turn down the volume of your TV set. And if you can't do that immediately, please take a few steps away from your TV set. And now let's get into today proper. And I'll be starting with a court verdict, or let's say a court judgment, and I'll state it from the Nigerian Tribune. Court stops NBC from imposing fines on broadcast stations. I mean, everybody will be excited because now it looks like the Nigerian democracy is actually coming out to play and the media is not being gagged. But there's something that Matiko said. He said it will enhance free press democracy. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that, because one of the major indices of democracy anywhere in the world is freedom of information. Yeah. And if you try to shrink information from the public, I don't think that is good for democracy. Okay. And the right thing, the court, the right step it is the right step that the court has taken, and it's for public interest as well. So. Okay. I think it's in order.
Okay, all right. Let's quickly move away to
NBC is being headed by politicians.
The politicians. So you think even their verdicts will actually be unwavered, or sometimes they would lean more towards politicians than actually letting the people know what is actually going on in society?
Most politicians, especially those ones at the real hem of the affairs, they really don't want the public, the masses to know what is happening in the system. And if you know, then the media, they are the ones putting the masses on the mountaintop, seeing whatever, all the dirty things are happening down the valley. And if the media is playing that role of opening the eyes of the masses, in 1999 things were not like this, 1993 things were not like this, 2007 it was not like this, and 2015 it wasn't like this. 2015 was the first time in the history of Nigeria, and I can say most African countries, that opposition openly took over power from a ruling government in this country. And that shows that there's the level of awareness politically is increasing in the country, and media is playing that role of putting the masses on the right track. Knowing they are right and knowing what to say at what time and at what time. So shrinking information from the masses by NBC coming in this form, I don't think is right. So to protect democracy, the judiciary have to come and play its role. And that is the normal thing they have done. Yeah.
So you think they did good justice to that?
They did good justice, both to the mass, to the country, and to democracy.
Okay, all right. We'd love to see that. Now let's quickly move to, speaking about NBC, let's move to major agencies in Nigeria. As a few days back, we heard that some key departments in the CBN will be moved to Lagos State. And now, as of today, we've seen where they've said FAAN would be relocating back the headquarters back to Lagos. We had a guest on the press yesterday and he said something about regionalization. I'd like to get your own output on this, given that we have 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. So why is it that most of the parastatals in Nigeria, it is always doing back and forth between Lagos? And note that the CBN parastatals of CBN departments that have been said to be moved to Lagos, they are being moved because they want to decongest Abuja. And speaking about the congestion, do you think Lagos is actually the perfect place to even move to? I mean, Lagos has been literally categorized as the New York of Nigeria.
Yeah, you know, from the beginning, after independence, where we have our capital city was in Lagos.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it was General Ibrahim Babajide who moved the capital from Lagos to Abuja. And it was done on security reasons. I think there was a time whether U.S. Marine operators, they came to Lagos, they stayed for over 2 or 3 months without Nigerian Navy noticing anything within the sea, the presence of foreign bodies within the sea. So for the security of the country and the image of the Nigerian security agency, the head of state then, General Ibrahim Babajide, have to move the capital from Lagos to Abuja, because if there is any external aggression on the capital city, once the federal capital is captured, then the entire country has been captured. So the reason for the movement of the federal capital territory from Lagos to Abuja, which is the center of Nigeria, was key then. And that was why the federal capital territory was moved to Abuja. Not that the department like FAAN now, the Ministry of Aviation and all of that, they have their ministry before in Lagos.
Yes.
And some other federal ministry or federal agencies, they have their offices in Lagos before. And just shutting it down, it's not right to shut it down, and pulling everything to Abuja. Abuja, the landmass of Abuja is not that much, equally like Lagos. But if they are to do that, I think it should be done. It should be the decentralization should capture almost this geopolitical zone, if possible, because once that is done, like in the southeast, north central, south, northwest, northeast, people do come from these zones to the center to carry out their daily activities, like those of them who are federal workers, federal government workers. In Lagos, if you see the way the pressure on the flight from Abuja to Lagos is because a majority of the federal civil servants, they reside in Lagos. They come to Abuja to work in Abuja. So if that is done, like if you move some federal agencies or ministries to Enugu, which is the center, I can say the center of the southeastern region, is better because they have airport in Enugu too, that it will be very easy for some of these civil servants.
Okay, let's quickly take this call before you continue. Hi, good morning. Okay, we lost that call. Please continue. So I think decentralizing it and capturing the geopolitical zone will be better than just giving the focus only on Lagos. Yeah. So what if they have to, because now it's not a matter of what if, we have the Northern Elders Forum fighting about this and saying, oh, what is going to become
of the North? They should not bring issue of tribe or region, regionalism into it, or tribal sentiment into it. It should be based on the basis of flexibility.
But speaking about flexibility, I don't think Lagos would have done justice to most of these parastatals. Okay, it's fine. This FAAN was moved 4 years ago, and now they are moving back. Now, thinking about the cost of moving back and forth right now, don't you think that money should be channeled into something better? And then why Lagos?
Why Lagos? Lagos, almost all the international flights, they take off from Lagos. Almost all the international flights take off from Lagos. So moving FAAN to Lagos is not bad, but we still have Port Harcourt as well. We have Kano too as well. So Lagos shouldn't be the focal point. That is my point. Lagos should not. The moment they center their attention on Lagos alone, other region, other people from another region will bring their interest will equally be triggered. So I don't think that is necessary for now. And if they are to do anything of such, if they say this should go to Lagos, they should equally mention a place like Kano and this office should go to Kano, and this office should go to Enugu, so that it will disabuse the mind of some Nigerians. And you know, everything in Nigeria, they put politics into it.
Okay, so. All right. Let's take this caller again. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Please separate from your TV set or turn down the volume. Good morning. Yes, we can hear you. Please, can you make... Hello? All right, the caller has refused to talk. Let's quickly move straight to other matters bordering on the polity. Federal government slaps Emefiele with 14 more charges. Ex-CBN governor gets leave to, of course, travel around, but then he can't travel past the Nigerian shores, which begs the question. Now, 20 charges have been slammed against Emefiele. Speaking about this, the former president has come out to say, that's the person of Muhammadu Buhari, he came out to say, oh, he knew all these things that Emefiele was doing, and he has receipts, and even if he's probed, he has his answers already. Why did he have to wait for it to get this bad? I mean, whether we like it or not, we're still suffering from the issue we had during the cash crunch and Naira redesign. And was the Naira redesign even really necessary? Do you think the federal government dragging Emefiele back and forth is even enough for him to pay for everything it has done to Nigeria's economy as a whole? And then more, do you think we need to implement more policies that would actually bar people or make them actually know what the constitution states? Because people still have issues with the fact that him as a sitting CBN governor wanted to contest to be the president of Nigeria.
I have held some Nigerians tagging what is happening to Emefiele to be a kind of a witch hunt.
Witch hunt, yeah.
Yeah, but on the other side of it, if you look at it very critically, you see that yes, even if Emefiele is being killed today, majority of Nigerians will support him being killed because they suffered so much, especially at the time of the election, because of this Naira redesign of 18. But Emefiele should not be used as the sacrificial lamb for others.
Okay.
Because he was the head of the Nigerian CBN, and that CBN, I think, is the head of almost everything. Because it releases money to many other banks, like Bank of Industry, Bank of Infrastructure, Nezim Bank, Printing and Minting, almost the supervising agents to most of these agencies of government that drives the economy. So, but he is not the only corrupt person. He is not the only corrupt person. And most of this money he directs, payment, pay this, do that. He equally received that directive from somewhere, someone. He cannot just act alone. But
now the ex-president has come out to say he has answers to every probe. So that means most of them didn't probably come from him, or some, and he doesn't even have immunity.
That shows that the way Nigerians look at him when he was leading the country, that he was not in charge, meaning he was not truly in charge. So if not, it's no issue of individual responsibility. Collective responsibilities, and it is issue of individual responsibility. Whatever happens in any agency, any ministry under the president, the responsibility is his. And it should be the president, President Muhammadu Buhari, that should be arrested and be punished if possible for all of these lapses, because he appointed the CBN governor, he appointed all the ministers that work under him. If there's any wrong committed by any minister and is claimed that he did not see it, and coming now that I have my template of what my dealings with the ministry, is his responsibility. So if Emefiele is being handled in this form, the president too should be called to answer. If any minister is handled in the same way, the president too should be invited to answer some questions. Now he has no immunity again. We have seen presidents of other countries, even within the African sub-region here, that have been punished in that manner. So if a head of a country like Nigeria can come to say, I have my... If you have, just come and answer your questions. They should invite him to come and give us a response.
But do you think it's going to get to that point where they will invite him to come and give us a response?
It will be better that way. It will be better because Emefiele is not the one directing himself. Someone somewhere was directing him on what to do. And
we need more answers.
And he put himself on that in that line to say, okay, I will accept to do all your bids. And that was why he did everything he did, beating his chest that I will do whatever you ask me to do. And that is it. He stick his neck out, that I will do whatever. That's why they allow him. If not, the Emefiele served the Jonathan. How on earth do you think somebody who served the Jonathan should be allowed to still work in an opposition government? Because he was ready to serve them the same way he was doing to the other people. You know, Jonathan government was seen as the most corrupt government before Buhari came in. And if he should be allowed to continue, then he was ready to still serve them the same way. And that was what we saw. So if Emefiele should be punished, then President Muhammadu Buhari too should be called to question.
But then it looks like President Muhammadu Buhari already even has his own answers before the questions even come forward.
Any criminal that is prepared. If you really want to say criminal, you see that before you pursue them, they are already pursuing themselves.
And they say the wicked runneth when no man pursueth.
That's just the whole thing.
Okay, all right. Still speaking about ministries and this, and of course, it looks like a lot happened on the Buhari's region, because I'm wondering the kind of money I've been calling today, from 10 billion naira to 75 billion naira. So now, Daily Independent has it that reps ask ministry to refund 75 billion naira COVID-19 funds. In all of this, all this money, and not just that, they've directed the health ministry to return 10 billion naira for vaccine production. 75 billion, 10 billion naira. We've heard the one from the Better Edu case. We've heard the one from the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. If all these monies were put together, don't you think they can even actually sort out the budget, the 2024 budget on its own? That's one. Two, what are we going to do to actually curb all of this? Because I mean, they say it starts from the people itself. Even from the people, you would see people where you're supposed to actually do something right, and then they take corners and all of that. But then in all of this, 75 billion, 10 billion naira, where did all of this money go to? The major problem we are having in Nigeria is that we have good policies, but implementation has been our problem. And most of this money you are calling billion, they are meant to solve the problem of the poor masses in Nigeria. But even the one of COVID-19 was to cushion the effect of the COVID period on the poor Nigerians. And if you go to the humanitarian ministry, whatever the humanitarian ministry was doing, or even still doing, is geared towards alleviating the poor poverty at the rural areas. If Nigeria truly, since you said solution, if Nigeria truly want to solve the problem of the poor masses in this country, they should take a leave and pick comparatively, they should check Nigeria and check what is happening in India. I always refer my analysis to India because they practice democracy. Yes, secular democracy. Just like Nigeria, we are multi-ethnic nation like India. Even a tribe, different thing, the same thing like India. India's own is even more than our own. But they have managed that for so long that today, India, I think, is one of the best democratic country in the world. And what India have done in this area now is they have ministry called Ministry for Rural Development in India. This Ministry for Rural Development, the focus is on education, rural road construction, health, pipe drinking water, and most of these things you see, you know, that will truly change the life of the rural poor. Rural, like a humanitarian ministry, if Nigeria really want to solve the problem, even all this crime you see committed, all this kidnapping and banditry, all that, they are happening from the rural area. No road in the rural area, no pipe-bound water. Now they are talking of open defecation. The people that suffer it more, they are the rural people.
Like in my community, we have 2 major rivers. And that is the only rivers that people use both in drinking and in using for everything. And if there is open defecation, once it rains, the whole will be contaminated. The rivers will be contaminated. No water, no original, no pipe-borne water for the people to drink. You understand? So if we can have Ministry for Rural Development in this country, in India, it's just 2 departments. One department for rural development, another one department for land. And this department for land take care of both forestry and all of those things. And in the olden days when we were growing up, in every local communities in Nigeria, we have what they call area development office. Area development office, where people from the communities were employed to keep communities neat, clean. But today they are all gone. If we can have rural development ministry in this country that will truly take charge of all of this, then give employment to Nigerians from almost every household. Then even those who are still working, let's say local government workers and even some state government workers, even retired people from the communities, you can get them. Some of these youths who are not engaged, you engage them. Instead of say 25,000 conditional cash transfer, when somebody is doing nothing, at least you can use that means to engage the youth and the rural areas. Household, you pick people from every household to engage them, and you see that Nigeria will change. Some of these rural roads construction, this ministry will take care of it. These 2 departments, Department for Rural Development and Department for Lands, being headed in India, is being headed by just 2 senior civil servants who act as secretary to the department, to each of these departments. And if you allow civil servants to handle such departments, they will be afraid of their job, not bringing in politicians to be secretary to such department.
Exactly, because I was going to
not bringing in politicians, because civil servants will be afraid of their job. If I commit crime here, if I do anything against the code, I'll be punished. So in that aspect, you will see redevelopment coming to play in Nigeria. But like Ministry for this humanitarian affairs, it's just for them to use in stealing money. Like COVID-19 fund can be used in rural health issue, and from there you employ people who went to maybe possibly, like in my place, we have some of these youths who engage themselves in they call it JETU, junior health extension workers and all of that. If you have people like that, you recruit them into community health centers, and some of these problems you see them vanishing, disappearing, and the problem will be reduced. Insecurity in Nigeria today is caused from the rural.
But don't you think this problem started from when most of the local government chairman has been scrapped? Now they've politicized everything. Basically, you see, there's local government chairman, scrap them, or bring them back. There's lots of back and forth. We're creating more local governments. I'm even taking Ondo State, for example. Then next thing you are saying, okay, we don't have local government. We're having caretakers here and there. And then, like you said, you rightly said, most of these issues actually start from the rural areas, because the federal government cannot possibly come from the FCT and then start going to Boko's local government in Plateau to know what's up is going there. It is someone that would actually still be in charge of all of that. So now in all this case, do you think the role of course there should be this synergy between local government, state and federal government, but do you think they need to act more, or more is required?
We have three tiers of government, and we have 3 arms of government. The 3 tiers of government is 1, local government, state government, and federal government. The 3 arms, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The local government, yes, they are there to serve the local communities, but the role of the local government have been taken over from them by the state government, that they are not even playing the role. Since that is not happening, if we can have this Ministry for Rural Development, they can synergize with local government. Then have offices in almost all the local government in Nigeria. We have 774 local government in this country. In some states like Ebonyi, they have development centers as well. That is not recognized by federal constitution. If you go to Lagos, they still have development centers, CDS, it's development area something in Lagos, but not recognized by the constitution. The ones recognized by federal constitution of Nigeria, they are 774. And if they can synergize with a rural ministry for rural development.
But don't you think they should bring back that local government?
Local government is in place. There's no how you can't scrap it. It's in the constitution unless the constitution is amended. Local government has
I'm not saying it has been scrapped, but you know, then we used to have local government chairman, then we have councillors and all of this. But then now we can't say the same for most of the local governments we have in Nigeria.
Some of the state governors, they are the ones abusing the constitution. Any state governor that have respect for the constitution, because you as the state governor, you are elected, recognized by the constitution, and the third tier of government, which is the local government, you should equally give them that right to enjoy that constitutional benefit as well, because they should be separation. They are government of their own. Even when I was in the university, they called when we were doing a student unionism, they call our government SUG.
Yeah.
They say we should remove the G. Student union government. We want it government. But they say we should remove the G. Student union.
Want to take the government away from them.
Student union. We cannot just be union. Student union government, SUG. So we protested and we ensured that the G remains. And we operated as government within the school system. We allocate fund for projects and all of that. We sit. We have Senate wing. We have people who work with the executive arm, with the SUG president, and we have secretary to the government as well. And all. We operate officially like government. And if you allow local government to operate on its own by allowing them having access to federal allocation, because the allocation of the federal monthly allocation that they share it between the federal, state, and local government.
Okay.
FCT have its own. You understand? So if they can allow local government to have total control of their fund from the federation account, it will help us. But this one something they call joint account.
Joint account.
Between state government and the local government. After the state government collect both the ones belonging to state and the one belonging to local government in their state, like in Benue State now we have 21 local government. These 21 local government, all the allocations meant for these 21 local government now, the state government will take it jointly with its own. And when they get to the state, they will call for joint account meeting between the special advisor to the governor, local government and chieftaincy affairs, and the 23 local government chairman, where they will just sit as a stooge. And you tell them, your local government, you have a 200 million naira, your local you have 300 million naira allocation. But what is your salary strength? If the salary strength of your local government, the chairman will not come with the template. This is your salary strength. If it is 40 million naira, say we are giving you 45 million or 60 million. After you pay salary of 40 million naira, the remaining one, just share it. There is no money again meant for development. You don't have anything to work with. Then you see the local government chairman now going to suppressing local women in the local markets, collecting tax that they don't make use of, just to enable them fuel their cars, because they have no other means to run government again after paying salary. The remaining fund now, state government know what they do with it. So it's nonsense. I've served before as local government secretary, and I'm telling you this as somebody who have the experience. There's what we call a FAAN in the local government monthly. Every month you must have FAAN, Finance and General Purpose Committee. That is where the supervisory councillors and chairman, then the secretary and all of them, you sit and look at projects across the local government. If there is fund on ground, you approve fund for better covered in this community, road construction to this area, this to this. But at the end, you will not even see 1 naira that you can allocate for any project. There are too many problems within the communities, but no fund. FAAN, Finance and General Purpose Committee. So in the local government, all those things are gone because the state government, they are not allowing the local government of chairman and the other councillors within the local communities to carry out what they are supposed to be doing for their communities. It's wrong. So if federal government can come in, since local government is no more functioning,
you would agree with me that the federal government cannot possibly get to the grassroots.
Local government can, federal government can get to the grassroots. The only time
they get to the grassroots is during elections.
Federal government can get to the grassroots.
How do they do that?
Really.
Okay.
Even as we are talking now, federal government, they are going to the grassroots. They are doing many. There are things in the exclusive list, things in the concurrent list. So the ones that is their responsibility, they are doing it at this.
But it's not getting there. That is my bone of contention.
No. It's going there. It's going there. But the way it goes now is because we have a federal representatives, the House of Reps and the senators. So they technically channel it through either House of Representatives or senators. Well, that's in another form they call it a constituency projects and all of those things. It's still federal government projects. But federal government.
You and I, between you and I, do you actually know that really does it get to the people at the rural areas? Because whether we like it or not, exactly. Because now when we're talking about the poverty and all of that, yes, it gets to the cities. But then when you take a deep dive into most of these rural and communities and towns, and where you see that, I'm talking about communities with one bank to over 500 persons. I'm not talking about communities where you have over 6, 7, 10 banks and then you can easily waltz into there and all of this. I'm talking about people that have barely one borehole. I'm talking about people that fetch water from their rivers.
Like my community?
Yes, like your community.
Yes.
Does the federal government really actually get to those communities that actually do need help?
It's not just federal. You not mention just federal government. Local governments have the responsibility to construct rural roads, community health centers, primary education, and some of these things is the responsibility of the local government. But since the fund is not getting down to them to enable them carry out some of these responsibilities, that is why we are crying. And federal government that has created a ministry called Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation Ministry. They can convert such nonsense ministry into a rural development ministry.
But
rural development ministry.
If you ask me, is it not just renaming it? Because
no, it's not issue of renaming. If you rename, you will give them target. This one is just to be sharing money and all of that. The way it is now is meant for corrupt people to occupy. And you will not see 1 naira going down the way it should go. Like what happened in the administration of President Muhammad Buhari. That they will come one weekend like this, you see some bogus amount that they have distributed so billions to Nigerians who have gotten it. You will not see one person coming on Facebook to say, I received this amount and this is the alert I received. We've not seen any.
But everybody has someone that knows someone that knows someone.
And it, once we have a ministry called Ministry for Rural Development, the target will be to accelerating the socio-economic problems at the rural communities. And they will have their focal, the agenda tailored towards alleviating poverty at the rural areas. And you not just go by sharing money. You engage some of these local workers, local government, these community people into government function. You have rural development area office in every community. Like when they are conducting election, we have political wards. All these political wards, you have rural area development office. Area where you have coordinator of that development office, bringing in traditional rulers and the youth wing of the community together, engaging some of them as workers. And you have their details at the end of the month. Federal Ministry of Rural Development can transfer, pay them their salary across Nigeria.
But you agree that in Nigeria, the only times that maybe people know of that the politicians have reached out to most of these rural communities is during election. I just want us to conclude.
You can give that kudos to INEC. Because it's the INEC that is making them to know that this is where you have to go.
So after election, they don't know what to do. After election,
they don't know whether they exist anymore.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr.
It's
Richard.
A very sad situation.
I like that justice you did to it. I do hope we have more time. Okay, we have limited time. Let's quickly take one caller before we wrap it up for today. Good morning, Chief Ario.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Please join in on the conversation in 1 minute. We're about to wrap it up.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Chief. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. I want to quickly talk about the explosion in Ibadan.
In Ibadan, okay.
Yeah, you see, it is high time the federal government dim their searchlight on minors. Tinubu has to come hard on those breaching our laws. They should make sure that this thing is not swept in the carpet. The federal government should investigate it very well in view of what is happening in this country. You see, why they have to investigate it is this. Now, with the activities of the terrorists, one cannot actually say what is happening. So they should find time to make sure that they investigate it very well, so that this thing will not happen again.
All right,
let me quickly go to Sokoto, where 735 vehicles was diverted during Tagua time to the Republic of Niger. That is very unfriendly. That is very uncomplimentary. There must be a border between Nigeria and Niger now.
All right, thank you very much, Chief Ariel. And that is where we wrap it up for today. Thank you very much, Richard Oriri, for joining us today. And then I would, of